Between now and August, we are going to be experiencing some monumental energetic shifts that will accelerate the ascension process. So let's get on with it. Hi, and welcome back. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Claire Attio, and there's a lot going on. I don't know if you can feel it. I know that I've been able to feel it. I've not always been able to pinpoint what I've been feeling, but I have known that there are big shifts coming. And what's been interesting this past week, as I've been feeling into those energies, even though I haven't personally seen everything that's coming, the universe has been sending me little pieces of the puzzle. So what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to try and piece those pieces of the puzzle together. So first off, we have summer solstice coming up, and summer solstice is a wonderful celebration of that midsummer point. It is the widest girth, the longest day on the spiral of time, and so we've got the most daylight hours. But what's interesting about this one, and I knew it was seriously special, I could feel that, and I've been making lots of preparations for what I'm going to be doing and how I'm going to be celebrating on Wednesday coming. But what's been interesting, what's come onto my radar, is the fact that because humanity has hit critical mass, aka there are now sufficient numbers of people in the awakening state, that universal energies can be sent in to help us reverse the damage that has been done on the planet by the patriarchal. And so what's coming in particularly this summer solstice is energies that will connect. There are going to be portals that will open on the sacred sites that will allow energy to be brought to Earth that will help to redirect the flow of those lines. Now, anybody who's been doing crystalline work, grid work, and waterway work, and ley line work, like myself and many others, will understand exactly what I'm talking about here. But what's coming in is a surge of energy, a surge of divine energy into the rose line. And this is to help the divine feminine. This is part of the ascension process, that we can bring about equilibrium once again to the planet, to humanity. And it's within that there's a few things going on. I'm not going to take credit for this. I didn't channel this. This was channeled through a lady called Magnet Pixies. You can check her out on YouTube as well. I will put her link in the bio below. She channels the 9. And for anybody that follows me, you will know I have a real affinity with the 369. Those numbers, that numerology, that Tesla, the magic of that has been with me for at least 3-4 years, and it's just been getting stronger, as is the power of 12, which breaks down to with 3s as well. But it's what they're actually saying is, and what she's actually saying, and what's being recommended is on the day of the solstice, the day of the 23rd, even if you can't get out to any of the sacred sites wherever you are in the world, and you will have these sacred sites, even if you can't get out, If you identify as a divine feminine, then take the time at 3:33 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. So whatever that converts. So if you're in the UK, that will convert as 4:33. And to focus on that rose line, focus the energy, add your energy so that we as humanity can actually anchor those light codes that will be coming through. We can actually hold those lines while the reversals are being done. The other thing that was coming in that was particularly profound for me was that amethyst will be the crystal of choice on that day. So if you have amethyst, then keep it with you at all times. The amethyst is going to be supercharged and become expediently activated. Now, I love crystals, but I pick them intuitively. And I don't know all the properties of all of them, but the amethyst is all about unity and peace. And so it's interesting that we're having these energies that are helping the divine feminine and reversing the damage that was done to the lines so that we can have unity, so that we can restore peace. The other aspect that is also coming in is that this year is a year 7. And so following summer solstice, we have the portal 777, the 7th of July in a year 7. 777 is also about the divine guidance and putting that wisdom back, putting that knowledge back, recognizing the knowledge of our higher selves, of our own talents, of our own traits, and actually working from a place of love, light, and healing for ourselves and for others. And so we've got massive, massive energies. Now, I always knew this was going to be a big year for me because I'm a life path 7. So for those of you that are a life path 7, this is going to be a real big whammy. And so it's immensely important. It's immensely important for everybody, no matter what your life path number, that you clear out any of those stories that you tell yourself that are self-deprivating. You clear any programs that really just don't function for you. You take the time, you clear it out, you shift it through so that you can bring in these new light codes, you can bring in these new energies, you can start to embody these energies so that we can then unlock the latent gifts within us, the latent knowledge within us. The DNA is already within us. These universal energies that are coming in are just giving us the codes so that we can unlock them and then we can sit with them. But if we're not creating space for them, we're not going to be able to decipher them. And so it's going to feel uncomfortable. Following that, we then have the 8-8 portal, the Lionsgate portal, which those that follow me will know that I always attune to the energies, and I do quite a big video on the 8-8 Lionsgate portal. And this portal this year, and this is what's really hit me, and this is the message that's actually been coming through to me, is 8-8. The angel number 8-8 indicates the rebirth and resurrection process. So it's allowing ourselves to kind of shed our old skin and start to step into our new skin, and obviously the phoenix rising, that resurrection. But what's really struck me, and I'm not a religious person, is the prophecy of the second coming of Christ. And I fell into this, and as I said, I'm not a religious person, and I don't mean that in any disrespect to anybody who is religious out there, but what it really feels like to me is the fact that So many of us are awakening. So many of us are starting to see past the veils of deceit and dishonor and greed, that we are all starting to embrace that Christ consciousness, whether we are religious or not. We are all seeking truth, or we are all already living our truth to the best of our ability for where we are now in this moment. And for me, that is the significance. It's the pinnacle. This Lionsgate, there is going to be, and as I said, once we get a bit closer to the time, I will attune myself more fully to the energies. I'm expecting more to come in as we go through the 7/7 portal. I have a inner knowing the information will be given to me about that in a much bigger way. So I will do another video on that. But it does feel that there is going to be a massive shift collectively, globally. Now, this is going to go, it's not going to go two ways, but it will be perceived two ways, depending on where your energetic frequency is now. Because the other aspect of the 8/8 portal is it's very karmic, not in the sense that judgment is being passed, but in the sense that we get to revisit those things that we put out, return to us. So if we've been putting out really good vibrations, if we put out light and love, that will actually come back to us, and so we will have an abundance of light and love in our lives. But if we have been a little bit entrenched in the 3D matrix and our preset has not been that of service, then those aspects will come back to us, and that will feel uncomfortable. And it's the uncomfortableness is not there as a punishment. The uncomfortableness is given to us so that we can actually course correct. And I always think of karma as course correct. I don't resonate at all with you'll get yours. It's not a punishment. It's just a cycle that gets created from our actions and our mindset at that time. And so if you start to get things come back onto your radar that are uncomfortable, that really don't feel very fair, then this is where we ask that you take a higher perspective rather than sitting in the woe me, what did I do? Take a higher perspective and go, okay, why are you here? What am I here to learn? How can I course correct? The other aspect of this, of course, are those that ran from their shadow work. And I'm the first to say, don't go chasing shadow work, but when it comes to you, face it. But there are those that run from their shadow work, run from the more difficult aspects of the spiritual journey. That is obviously going to come back round as well. So depending on where you are and how you have been within your spiritual journey will depend on the perspective of which you see these energies. So they could either be really positive or they can be quite challenging. But the key here is, if you're finding it challenging, surround yourself with people that resonate with you now, not who resonated with you 6 months ago, a year ago, 2 years ago, when this karmic cycle was created. Get people that resonate on your frequency now to hold space for you so that you have the strength to work through this. And I say work through this because there is nothing we cannot work through. The other things to take into consideration with all this going on are the retrogrades that are in play. And luckily, we're out of the Mercury. That doesn't come back again until September. So we get a little respite from that. But again, I want you to look at these retrogrades, not in the, oh, woe me mentality that we've had previously. This is going to be difficult. This is going to be drudging through tar. I want you to look through these retrogrades as an opportunity to heal, an opportunity to grow, an opportunity to ascend, an opportunity to release. Because, excuse me, because that's exactly why they're here. They're here because we're receiving all these light codes, because of all the crystalline work that is actually being done. Time is just speeding past. And so these retrogrades are just slowing it down just a little bit, just so that we can catch a breath and we can catch the lessons and the gems that we didn't catch previously. So again, it's that secular energies giving us the opportunity to grow, to heal, to learn, to expand, to ascend. So we are in Saturn retrograde at the moment. We went into Saturn retrograde on the 4th, and that continues until October. And Saturn actually is all about our moral obligations and authority, the way we handle responsibility, the way we set boundaries, and the way we actually conduct ourselves in our adult life. So if you're still feeling uncomfortable, if you're still not expanded into your own confidence, so you know that you're one person on the inside, but you're not able to show that, you will have the opportunity to grow and to really come into that. If you know that you're not setting boundaries as firmly as you are, you will have things come onto your radar that are going to push your buttons so that you have the opportunity to learn and to set those boundaries. So that if you are dealing with authoritative figures and that there are bullying dynamics, you will have the opportunity to stand up for yourself. Also, it will mean those authority figures that are creating deceit, that are creating disharmony, will be exposed. So we're going to be seeing, if you follow mainstream TV, I don't because I find it too negative, but if you do follow mainstream TV, you are going to see a lot of exposure from now until October. The other one that we've got is coming up after that is the Neptune retrograde on the 28th of June. So at the end of the month. Neptune governs all things mystical, the mystical realm. And so, and I know I've kind of seen it, those situations that we've had where we start to have greater vision, we start to have greater audio, our clairs come into play, we have a deeper knowing, we get in touch with our latent ancestral knowledge, and we start to step into our ancestral heritage in a long way. But there will be aspects of that. I've done a video on clearing hexes and curses and hexes, I think it's called. I will link it in this video, where I talk about a lot of these curses and hexes have actually come from our ancestors because they wanted to protect us. But of course, we need to clear those so that we can actually step into all that we are here to be. We came back in this timeline because we have latent gifts, we have latent knowledge, we have skills of which to help with the ascension process. Plus, we come back because it's pretty darn phenomenal time in the cosmic history, but that's a kind of egoic side of it. But so there are going to be aspects of that spirituality If you've still running fears, for example, things will come onto your spectrum that will trigger that, to help you move past it, to help you start to take ownership of who you are and the gifts that you have. So be aware. There is, and as I said, there's a lot going on. Make sure that you rest. Make sure that you eat properly. Make sure that you exercise properly. Make sure that you drink plenty of water. If you can get hold of living water, get hold of living water and drink that. The most important aspect is to make sure that you are surrounded with people and you bring laughter and love into your life every single day. That is one of the fundamental keys to a healthy, happy life, is laughter. Don't underestimate the importance of it. Even when you have all these things bombarding you energetically and you're thinking, and you start growing a list as long as your arm as all the things that you have to kind of deal with and sort through. Bring in the laughter. Don't underestimate the importance. The other one that's already in retrograde is Pluto. That went retrograde on the 29th of April. And there is Uranus going retrograde on the 24th of August. But Pluto, and this is where it you know, when we have the other planets start to go into retrograde, this is where it's going to get a little bit because Pluto deals with the underworld. Pluto is about bringing up your darkness, and that's what I was saying. If you've been running from your shadow self, when that 8-8 portal opens with Pluto still in retrograde, it will feel like it's coming and it's kicking your ass. I'm not going to mince my words. It's, as I said, it's not there to harm you. It's there to heal you. Just keep that in mind and reach out to people that can help you. Don't try and do it alone. A lot of it you need to do on your own because you have to process it. It's part of your journey. Nobody can tell you how to do it, but people can hold space for you so that, and we can send you energy so that you have the fortitude to push through this. So as I said, there is a huge amount going on. There's a lot coming up. For those of you that identify as a starseed from Sirius, if you are connected with Atlantis and the Lemurian era, if you have any kind of connection or feel an affiliation to Orion's belt, all that will come into play. All of that will start to kick in and be knocking at your door come next Wednesday, come the 23rd of June, with the summer solstice. In Egypt, the lines, the pyramids align with Sirius and the Orion's belt, and that is when they knew that their abundance of water was coming and the floods would occur, and they were able to obviously then have their harvest. There's massive things going on. The one thing that I channeled, which I will leave you with, is what came through for me was the fact that we have these accelerated Stargate portals, ascensions, and it is going to be accelerated when we start to get when these light codes start to come through, when we start to integrate them, when we start putting our personal pieces of our puzzle together and connecting the dots, you're going to have many euphoric aha moments. But not only that, what is absolutely phenomenal, and I've actually seen it within my circles of friends and beings at the moment, is that the pieces of the puzzles on a cosmic scale are starting to come in. And it's allowing us to see more and more of the picture. There are still some things intentionally hidden from us. And anybody, as I said, anybody that does any of the holding the grids, or they've been doing any work on the waterways or the ley lines, they will understand why. There are certain aspects still hidden from us. It's not that we're not able to connect, it's because it's intentionally hidden for our own good. But many of the pieces are coming in, and much of it needs to be shared. Much of it needs to be, because it's, and as I said, I was given the video that talked about the stargates opening in summer solstice. I had no idea that. I felt that this summer solstice was of great significance, but I didn't know why. And then, completely unsolicited, the universe popped that onto my radar via a fellow spiritual being. And so I'm able to share that with you. And this is what will be happening continuously. More and more of those puzzle pieces will be coming in. What I was actually given, and I will actually read it to you because I wrote it down: higher levels of consciousness functioning within frequencies never before mastered on Earth. That is where we're going. And I'll read that again. Higher levels of consciousness functioning within frequencies never before mastered on Earth. And I read that a second time, because if you're like me, you're going to sit there and go, huh? Because I assumed, love that, assumed. I'm always telling people you mustn't assume. I assumed we were returning to a point in time as in Lemurian or Atlantean. I probably assumed that because at the time that's all my head could logically cope with. But that was the message I got through, and I sat with it and I questioned it, and they gave me it again, which is why I read it to you, and I'll read it to you a third time. Higher levels of consciousness functioning within frequencies never before mastered on Earth. That is where we're going. That is what this ascension is all about. This has never been done before. It's not a return to the ancestral way of being within Atlantean times, within Lemurian times. We are creating a new future. We are going into a new dimension. Will we pull knowledge from ourselves, from those times, to take into that new future? Absolutely. We're not going back, we're going forwards. And that is what is so auspicious. That is what just takes my breath away. And that's what makes me very emotional. Because we are going to be creating magic, pure magic, on this beautiful, beautiful planet. And I'll leave that with you. You take care. Bye-bye.